On the desk of President John Fitzgerald Kennedy was a little boat, and on that little boat was the insignia, which read, "Dear God, my boat is so small and the ocean is so big." It was President Kennedy's way of confessing that although he was president, he was a man in great need. President Kennedy had to grapple with the pressing issues of his day: civil rights, the emerging communist threat in Vietnam, the expansion of communism in the Soviet bloc. He was the youngest president, second only to Teddy Roosevelt. And so President Kennedy, on his desk, made a statement of confession and need and said, "God, my ship is so small, but the ocean I face is so big. I have a great need." Have you ever felt that way? Your ship so small, but the ocean that you're dealing with is so large. Have you ever felt that way? If you feel that way, then that's what you call being human. We are the creation, and God is the creator. And the last time I checked, there is no vacancy in the Trinity. We have great need, but it's wonderful to know that to respond to great need is a great God, an awesome God. In fact, in the Synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and in the Johannine Gospel, there is a miracle that appears in all four Gospels. Jesus has just taught the multitudes, and the disciples said, "Jesus, send them away that they might go and get something to eat." And Jesus, perhaps with a grin on his face, looked at his disciples and said, "You feed them." And Jesus says, "You feed them." And these disciples began to survey what they have. And all they could come up with is 2 fish, 5 loaves of bread. And their bread was really barley bread or little biscuits, Hungry Jacks, and 2 fish, a couple of sardines, and here's 5,000 plus people. And Jesus looks at them and says, "You feed them." Well, according to the figures, when they added it up, 2 plus 5 does not equal 5,000 plus. Their figures was right, but their faith was wrong. And many times, our figures are right, but our faith is wrong. Because faith does not figure on the human level. Faith uses advanced algebra. Because in basic mathematics, 2 plus 5 does not equal 5,000. But if you use algebra, 2 plus 5 times x can equal 5,000. And in algebra, the x is the unknown variable. And if you know how to fill in the x, 2 plus 5 times x can equal bill money, car note, house note. Because when you've got a great need, I want to recommend to you a great God. Well, how great is our God? Well, I'm glad you asked me how great he is. He was outside the world when he made it, stood into the world to save it, then stepped back outside the world to redeem it. How great is our God? Our God made 7 times more water than land. But yet, the water does not envelop the land because God spoke to the water and said, "You go thus far and no farther." How great is our God? He made the eagle his 747. He made the whale his submarine. How great is our God? He's been called many things. Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace, Prophet without peer, Grace without equal, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, Rock of Ages, Water in dry places. bridge over troubled waters. And I've come here to tell you tonight that if you've got a great need, great need, great need, great need, I recommend a great God.